YouTube Vinyl community, Beach Boys fans, top 10 fans, top 5 fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens. We're joined today for List Monday with David Leaf, author, professor, filmmaker, documentarian, overall great guy. David, we're here today to talk about our top 5 favorite songs by the Beach Boys between 1967 and 1970. An amazing period for the guys. A lot of great music came out at that time. How was it putting your list together? What was that like?
Well, I'm more than twice as old as you, so I thought I'd get 10 picks.
You could do 10. I'll,
I
I'll
could do
do
10.
5. Yeah.
You'll give me 10? Well, I'll count down from 10 to 6, and then we'll get to the top five,
And I'll jump in
which
with you at that point. That's perfect.
um I think at number 10 I would put Diamond Head.
Oh, yep.
Number 9, Busy Doing Nothing.
Yep.
Number 8, It's About Time.
Yep. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Number 7, I'm doing this on the fly. Add Some Music.
Yep.
And I think number 6 is going to be Friends.
Wow. Pretty friends heavy top 5 to 10 there. I almost did the exact same thing with
Well, actually, Busy Doing Nothing's number 6. Sorry.
oh, okay. Um, I mean, Friends is such a grail of an album that choose so many classics from. I almost put Diamond Head on my list as well. I love that song. What an amazing track. It's just the most peaceful sounding thing ever. It's great.
It's wild. I know there was conversation, because the original story of Smile was supposedly the bicycle rider was going from the East Coast to Diamond Head,
Yeah.
and did that belong on Brian Wilson Presents Smile?
Yeah.
And the answer from Mr. Wilson was no. Very simple, no.
That's funny. Um, what made you pick Add Some Music? Because I know for a lot of people, that song is kind of like the era defining track that kind of led them into the 70s. But what's your takeaway with Add Some Music?
Um, I think that the line "music is in my soul."
Yeah.
That's when that song gets me.
Yeah. I love that line. Um,
Um, it's just a great piece.
just kind of a side question. When Sunflower came out, I know Surf's Up was the first new one you bought at that time as it was released. Was Sunflower being talked about much, or was it getting played at all on the radio? Do you remember it being sort of in the public consciousness, or what was that
Not
like?
not on the radio. No, I was listening to WNEW FM and WPLJ FM in New York, and they weren't playing it. I
Yeah,
was a disc jockey at WRGW at George Washington, and our station was on what was called carrier current, which meant the only people who could hear it were in the dorms.
oh, yeah, okay. I did that
That was
too.
about 1,000 people.
Yeah,
Um, it was not, Sunflower was just not part of the conversation as far as I heard.
yeah.
I may have missed it, but it didn't penetrate
It's
until
un
after I got Surfs Up, and then I went back and got Sunflower.
right, right, right. Was it hard to find in the stores at that time, or was it still pretty readily available?
That I don't remember.
Yeah, can't even imagine. I mean, growing up, I never saw Sunflower. I didn't know it existed until I was in high school. I had no idea. Um, well, let's do top 5. What was your number
Okay,
5?
Friends.
Perfect. Yep, that was gonna be on my list too. It's just, it's a perfect little song. That's
It
it.
is. It's a perfect little song, and the line "Let's be friends." Um, I took it. I think I once described it as a lyrical plea for Brian.
Interesting.
Let's be friends.
Yeah.
Um, it's as joyous a song as you could imagine, but if you look at it from that different point of view, it's got a different take.
I can see that for sure. I mean, my list could be different 10 minutes from now, let alone what I have written here. And that would have been on it because I every song I could have picked would have been from the Friends album. It's probably my favorite record from them. And I feel the same way. I mean, that song for me in particular is very camaraderie. And it's like, a bunch of them wrote it together. So it's a great, band group effort. And you feel the comfort in that song. It's a very emotive little song.
Um, yeah, you're analyzing it more than I am. I just,
My job.
I just,
It's what I get sort of
I,
paid to
well,
do.
I'm glad they're paying you. I'm not getting paid anything to be on this show. I was supposed to go see Beetlejuice tonight, and I skipped it for this. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
There's still time.
yeah. There is still time. Yeah. So anyway, the Friends album, Brian. I think everybody knows by now. Brian always said that was his favorite album. He didn't think it was their best album, but
Yeah.
his favorite album because it didn't it evoked the right mood for him.
Yeah, absolutely. You're number four.
This whole world.
Ooh, yeah. What made you pick that one?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's hard to know. Steve Desper is a good person to ask. How do these things happen? Brian's upstairs in his bedroom. The studio's downstairs. What made him write the song? What made him come downstairs, play the song, sing the song?
Yeah.
But it just, in 2 minutes, it goes everywhere, and it gives you a sense. Late at night, I think about the love in this whole world. I mean,
Holy moly.
exactly, exactly.
My number four, I would say it's a fitting compliment to that one. I picked Time to Get Alone from,
I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll get
yeah,
there.
what a wonderful little track. And it's something that I've come back to more over the years and I've appreciated more as I've gotten older. Um, Musically, every beat in the verse is a different instrument. How the hell do you think of something like that? It's an incredibly written song, and it's one
Well,
that, dates back a couple years earlier before it came out, but a very excellent harmony group effort as well.
well, it's as Smile is coming apart, Brian is writing Time to Get Alone.
Yeah, funny.
Um, by the way, we should mention, even though Smiley Smile is included in this 67 to 70, we agreed not to pick any Smile songs
That's right.
because they were written in 66.
That's
But
right.
Time to Get Alone was written in 67 for Redwood, which was going to be Brian's first produced group for Brother Records,
Right.
and it's just spectacular. I mean, the notion that he needed a lyricist kind of gets disabused when you listen to Time to Get Alone.
I know. There's a magic to that song that, especially with Carl's lead vocal. I mean, he could have, as someone, whoever, I don't know who said Carl Wilson could sing the phone book. Whoever said that was a genius because that is completely true. Um, but when he put those kind of magical lyrics on it with Carl's voice, you just have a recording that will always be something joyful to listen to. They nailed it with that one.
Absolutely.
Your number
Absolutely.
three.
Okay, it's going to be a little controversial forever.
It was going to be on my list as well, but actually I took it off. But Forever's amazing.
It's so important because it marks Dennis Wilson's immersion as a significant songwriter in on a Beach Boys record.
Absolutely.
The things on Friends are just not. They're almost like tone poems.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, this is a full-fledged love song that one could see somebody playing it as the first dance at their wedding.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I feel like it's the first taste you get of Denny really giving his all. You get some of that in 2020, but like, the stuff on Friends he wrote with Steven, so it's a little bit different. But this is the first one where it's really like you're inside his heart. And like, wow, this tough rock and roll guy has like a lot to say about emotion. It's kind of a cool juxtaposition between who he was as a rocker and like this really heartfelt ballad. It's like, oh my God, Denny Wilson wrote that song. Like, it's incredible.
Well, sure. I mean, it's it precedes Cuddle Up and others that where he just he had the ability to touch your heart deeply. And obviously, we wish we had gotten more from him.
Absolutely. Um, my number three, I put "Aren't You Glad" from Wild Honey. Um, just a sweet little song. You know, when you first meet somebody and you get those butterflies, and it's like, wow, I've been waiting a long time for this. You know, it's like, and putting that into this song that has this real comfort, cozy verse and kind of a joyous, explosive chorus. When they would do it live with that big horn section, that could have been a massive single for them. Just a little tweak in the production could have been a hit. Um, I've always loved that
Oh,
song.
I don't know that they were going to have any hits.
Probably not.
That's just not where the world was.
Yeah.
You know, was it somebody once, was it Bruce Johnson, who said, "Yeah, we were thinking of changing our name to Beach," as if that would have solved the problem.
We just made a video about that actually. It's funny you said that. Yeah. Um, you're number two.
Is time to get alone.
Time to go on. Oh yeah, right. There we go.
It's just spectacular. And I wrote the liner notes for the Three Dog Night retrospective, and
Oh,
we were
cool.
able to we were able to get the Redwood version of "Time to Get Alone" on there.
Yeah.
And one can speculate from here to eternity what would have happened if Brian had been allowed to continue to work with them.
I mean, he was going to give him Darlin too, so it's, it would have been a heck of an album if it came out.
Well, I don't know. They may have just started with a single, and they may
Or
have
just
started
single.
off with a hit single. I
Yeah.
don't know. Karmically, maybe it was, you know, their their world was to leave Brother Records, change their name, and become the biggest um, pop radio group of the next 7 years.
It was supposed to
So,
happen.
so Brian had certainly heard something there,
He knew.
realized that yeah, he knew that that you needed a grittier sound for radio,
Yeah.
and it's to me, when one reads Chuck Negron's description of what happened at those sessions,
Yeah.
it's very, very distressing.
Yeah.
And in terms of um, it creates for Brian, I don't know if Hobson's choice is the right phrase, but it's like, okay, I can't work with the guys I want to work with. And you're saying if I work, it has to be with you, but I really don't want to work with you.
Right.
So that means I'm not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Stalemate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty, it's beautiful. I didn't know any of this when I heard it on 2020. I mean,
Right.
the combination of "Time to Get Alone" and "I Went to Sleep," I mean,
Yeah.
it's just staggering.
Yeah.
And then you get "Our Prayer" and "Cabinescence." I mean, you're talking about
What a
one
side
one of
too.
one of the great sides since Pet Sounds.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's C'est
Uh,
la vie.
I forgot to give my number five, but it was "Let the Wind Blow" was my number five.
Let the wind blow. I thought about that, and it's really beautiful. It's beautifully sung. It just it just felt like it hadn't stood the test of time as well for me
Yeah,
as
I like the
some
live version better. Well, I like them both, but the one from the concert album '73, that version is amazing.
those concerts back then were really special. You didn't know what they were going to do
Yeah.
until the Endless Summer um, success slash box came out.
Bittersweet.
Box meaning they were now boxed into being that hit band.
Right.
And the stories that I've heard of Carl and Mike getting into it as to which direction we're going to go in. Not happy stories, and kind of endless summer in Spirit of America, and the failure of 15 Big Ones kind of sealed all that. But let the wind blow live was beautiful, very
Yeah.
delicate, very delicate.
Absolutely. My number two might be controversial because we said no smile, but this isn't really. I put Cool Cool Water because it's on Sunflower, but it's not necessarily Smile.
Oh, okay. Well, you can get away with it. It's not. It wasn't in my top 10. It was. It was. In an ocean or in a glass cool water, such a gas. It really wasn't saying much.
No, but
Uh,
it doesn't say much at all. But like the vibe on that song is so relaxing. And I think it's got to do with Steven Desper's engineering too. But like, um, that track is just like it transports you to somewhere super. I could almost see that being on Friends if it was like a little bit more, a little less produced
hmm,
in that
that's
Sunflower way.
yeah. That would have been on Friends without the water chant because the water chant was, I think, too. Well, maybe just before Diamond Head, it could have fit.
Or milled
Yeah.
out of it or something. Yeah. Um, and your number one.
Breakaway.
Oh, I was gonna put Breakaway on my list. Yeah, that's such a good song.
I It's just there's something about that record that it was like it came out of nowhere. I remember finding it in a record store and I was like, what the heck is this? I mean, it didn't make it to anybody's greatest hits albums. And, it never got onto a greatest hits album.
Not until Spirit of America, I think. Yeah, I think it's on that one. Yeah.
I would like to challenge somebody to make a list of how many greatest hits albums have come out since 67,
I,
66. It's staggering.
in America
Way
alone, it's staggering.
way more than actual studio albums.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I grew up with all those tapes when I was a kid. Every tape I got was like greatest hits of sorts with slightly different track listings. So I'd build up my collection through the cassettes. That's funny, man.
Oh yeah, Made in USA. I think I wrote the liner notes for that one.
Yeah, yeah, I just had that tape out recently. Um,
But no, Breakaway was, and then Celebrate the News on the flip side. It was like, who are these guys?
a true B-side. Yeah,
But Breakaway, a lyric of Breakaway, um, like the lyrics of all the Brian songs that I chose on my list, This Whole World and Time to Get Alone and Busy Doing Nothing and
yeah,
Friends, they are really him saying how he feels.
yeah, yeah. It's a heavy
And
song.
part of me that wants to be free. And it took a long time from that song till he was free, a long time.
25 years. Yeah. No, that song really is special. I love all the guys taking alternating vocals on that one. The production is solid. That for me, I see that song as a failure on Capitol's part because that's such a good song. The construction is there. There's enough changes to keep you interested. The chorus is extremely catchy. The verses keep you going and keep you interested. It could have been a big hit for those guys, and it was in so many other countries. And
Well,
America has a
it's
or something.
Capitol Records has, you know, it has done a lot of things to be blamed for.
Oh, for sure.
But when we look at the 1960s Beach Boys, you have to ask yourself, who was their manager and who was
Yeah,
their publicist?
yeah,
And with the exception of Derek Taylor's brief period, they they didn't really have big time management nor big time publicists.
yeah.
Um, and that's what it took to have hit records.
That's true. That's true. Um, my number one, I put Darlin' from Wild Honey. Um, for me, let alone being a top 20 single, I think it was a cool song because it kind of comes and goes, but it says a lot, really compact. And it was their first big hit since earlier that year with Heroes and Villains and kind of kept them in the public eye for a while. But I feel like for as big as a hit that it is to us now, I feel like looking, I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but it feels like Darling was the single that like always wanted to be well known, and the fans knew it. But it was one of those songs that like a on the cuff or a on the sidelines fan will hear and be like, "Wow, that's the Beach Boys. That's really cool." Like a gateway Beach Boys song to slightly deeper hits. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, just
It's,
an incredible song.
it is. It didn't make it higher in my list because it was a remake of a much earlier song.
True, yeah, that's true.
So it was, but it's a vintage Beach Boys hit record.
Yeah,
The fact that it only made it to number 20 is indicative of how little anybody was working their records,
right.
or and how little anybody wanted to hear what they were doing.
That too.
Growing up in New York, uh, people talk about top 40 radio. In New York, it was really top 20 radio.
Oh, wow.
So things that were in the top 40 might get a play here and there, but you had to get into the top 20 to get a lot of play, and in the top 10 to really
Yeah,
be heard a lot. So Darlin was heard, but it wasn't in heavy rotation.
yeah.
And I mean, I don't even remember hearing Heroes on the radio.
That's such a weird song for the radio. I love the song. It's a
It's
very
well, it's
strange radio choice.
well,
Well,
they couldn't have released Wonderful as a single.
that would have been really cool.
No,
Um,
well, that would have been too weird.
yeah, it's true. Especially the Smiley Smile version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, David, thank you so much for being a part of this. This was so much fun to chat about our your top 10, my top five, 67 to 70 Beach Boys songs. Um, if you guys want to follow David below, little links and stuff down there for social media. If you want to follow him on Instagram, if you want to do that.
Um, I'm on Facebook and I have a website. Instagram is not my friend. I'm on Instagram, it's like whenever somebody sends me something from Instagram, it's like, I gotta go. I gotta go look there.
Yeah.
So Facebook is really the place to see what I have to say about anything, and
Yeah.
not too often.
All right. Well, I'll tag the Facebook below, but thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments below for what your favorite songs in that era were, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Thank you, man.